ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
hey, back.
Goodness. Well, guess who's back? Precious, my lovely, lovely co-host, is back. We are so glad that you are back on the show, my diva, my friend. And thank you guys. Thank you, divas and friends, for tuning into another episode of In the Divas Den. We have so much to talk about tonight. A lot has been going on. From the serious news to not so serious to, you know, the recent events of versus battles and the shade that has ensued from there. We got a lot to talk about, but before we get into all of that, first we got to do our check-in. So, Precious, my love, how are you?
I am great. I'm happy to be back. Yes, it's been a crazy last couple of weeks. For those of you who don't know, my grandfather passed away, so I had to head back home to New Jersey, and that's where I was. It was good to be around the fam, though. Good to see their faces, even though it was what it was. And just to recharge, to turn back into that Precious I kind of left behind when I moved down here, you know? So it was good. I feel good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm in a good place right now. You know, there's a lot of transitioning that is happening right now. And I'm excited for it, but also a little bit scared. You know, but it's good. It's a good transition. I think this is something that I've been waiting for, especially in 2020. Yes. Because 2020 has been a hurt piece for all of us, but really excited for the new things that are going to be happening. You have exciting things. I have exciting things. We have exciting things for the show. So just make sure that you guys are following us. As you can see down below, that's where you can find out all the new and exciting things that we're doing. But let us know. How are you guys doing? It's been a long week. God, it's only Wednesday. But check in with us. Let us know how you're doing. And don't be afraid to chime in on the conversation, because we have a lot that we are going to get to. And with that being said, let's start with one of the biggest things that has happened over the past couple of days was the recent settlement in the Breonna Taylor case. It's one of the largest settlements in history, reaching $12 million. There is some good and some bad that's happening with this news. A lot of people are just like, okay, well, you know, that is deserved. While some people are saying money will never bring Breonna back. And then there are people who are still saying, okay, that's cute, but where is the justice in all of this? It's been months since we've heard anything regarding, you know, the officers, or if there is going to be any sort of charges or indictment or anything like that. And it seems like that is always the first thing of, well, let's just reach a settlement. So Precious, what do you think?
I think and I saw somebody say that the civil suit versus the criminal suit are completely different. So this is kind of settling that civil part of things, compensation for the family, for their losses and everything that they've been dealing with. So a lot of people don't realize those medical bills still have to be paid. Yes. All of the extra fees that come about that you don't realize when dealing with something like this have to be covered. And then also, you know, covering for the family as well. You know, she had a livelihood, who knows who she was supporting and, you know, what was happening. So it's just comfort for them. But at the same time, that criminal suit needs to be pushed forward expeditiously. It needs to happen like now. I need them to not let up just because the money was given to the family. That's great. However, let's keep moving forward and put these people behind bars, because that's where they deserve to be.
Exactly. And I've read a recent article, and I believe I was talking with, you know, our producer Kayla about it, where we actually heard the voice of the sister. Not too many people knew that the sister was staying with Breonna and they had such a close relationship. But in the midst of everything that's going on, you forget that this person is missing their family. You know, we talk about the mother, we talk about the father, but what about the siblings? And she's just like, I can't even stay in that house anymore. She's like, I want nothing to do with any of the furniture or anything like that that's in there. And she's like, yeah, of course, you know, money is always, you know, appreciated, but she said, it's never going to bring my sister back. Right. And as of lately, they did interview a few people from her family, and they're saying that what they would like to do is just essentially put some of the efforts towards police reform, and just make a change, not only in their city, but in the U.S. altogether. And that's definitely admirable, because just because the money may seem a little bit good, it's not going to last forever. And even with that, what are the next steps? What's going to happen now? And I don't want anyone, like you said, to get comfortable or to think that this is just hush money and it's like, oh, okay, well, we're good. No, the fight still must continue, because what happened to her is absolutely inexcusable.
Right. And it should never happen again.
Ever.
However, here we are. Another hashtag, another name, another day.
Exactly. And if you guys have not heard, there have been a few incidences that have happened, one in Tulsa and one in Compton, where 2 police officers in both of these incidences were shot. One police officer, I believe in Tulsa, was killed while the other was severely injured. Compton, one police officer, once again, was killed while the other was severely injured. And now it seems like there is this narrative of, well, we don't want people to see the footage because they are, how was it worded? It was actually the sheriff in Tulsa that said it, but he was like, I don't want anyone to see what happened to, anyone on my team, because this was execution style. It wasn't safe. This is unnecessary for the general public to see. And, we don't want any damage to come from this. But I just find it funny that you want to protect the images of your police officers and what happens to them, but everyone is so quick to, see these videos of a man with his knee and his neck, and, people being shot right in front of their homes, in their backyards and things like that. Like, that isn't a problem. But if it's a police officer, it's a problem.
It's because it's an embarrassment, because it shows how they're not trained and how they are trained 2 ways. How they're not trained to handle a situation and to simply subdue a suspect. The man that you just saw on the screen, it took them so long to try to even get him corralled together, the 2 of them. And he was inebriated and they could not gather him together. And in the end, he ended up grabbing the gun, even after being tased, ended up grabbing the gun and shooting them and killed one. And it's an embarrassment to show, like, where is your training? You're supposed to be able to handle this. This is what you're trying to do. But at the same time, it also shows, okay, had this been somebody else that you said, quote unquote, claim fear for your life, why didn't you shoot? Why didn't you shoot to disable, to disarm? Not to kill, to disable, to keep them down.
Exactly.
Where is that training? What's going on?
And that's a valid point, because, I had a conversation on air about this. It took 20 minutes. You talked to this man, and his name is David Ware. This actually happened in Tulsa. You took 20 minutes to try to diffuse a situation for someone that you thought, made a wide turn or was driving under the influence. And, you were asking him, do you want me to tase you? And just like literally all this narrative that's going back and forth. But yet when it's a person of color, it's shoot first and ask questions later. Now, I in no way am condoning what had happened, but the thing is, how can we possibly feel sorry for these people when you do things like this to us without any explanation? Like, is it sad? Absolutely. But it was also sad for George Floyd, So what, and Breonna Taylor.
And this is not the first time seeing a police officer not able to control the suspect. There was an instance in a liquor store in which the people that were standing by watching had to keep him down for the police officer to even put handcuffs on him. There was also an incident out in the park where they all had to beat him up to get the police officer to come over and be able to control him. So something is gravely wrong with the force overall throughout the entire country, for them, number one, to not be able to control suspects, and then number two, to be so biased, to be so racially biased that they automatically fear someone of a darker hue to the point where there is no actual threat. But then when there is a threat, they can't recognize it and they end up getting killed for it.
Exactly. And I don't get how there's no accountability, and it's just like, oh, well, this was horrible. What happened? Okay. But like you said, if your people are supposed to be trained for this, then why should we feel sorry? You should be able to go through this. And this is the sheriff in Tulsa who made the comment, essentially saying like, hey, we didn't want the video to go out there in the first place. We didn't want, the general public to see what happened. But as you said, that essentially was just, them being embarrassed at the simple fact that a 20-minute altercation had happened. This man grabs a gun. He's able to shoot 2 of your men, not 1, but 2 of your men, killing 1. And the whole entire situation was just doomed to hell from the beginning. Why are you asking him, do you want to be tased? Why are you having this long conversation? Because if it was a black man, first of all, the dialogue would have never happened. They would have been shot. They would have never been able to reach for a gun. None of this would have happened. We would have had another hashtag. And what disappoints me is, as a black sheriff, how you don't sympathize or see that there is a problem. You're immediately going to, well, I'm going to fight for my people, or, I'm going to stand up for them and I'm going to protect them. Okay, but at any moment when you take off that uniform, you're seen as just another black man in America, So to me, it's so confusing. And it also just shows how, depending on your color, you can walk, and be arrested, or you could be a hashtag.
It was ridiculous how many chances this man was given in that video. How they just did not, it was not forceful at all. It took a good 10 minutes into the video for it to become like, this is a serious situation. He's not listening. We need to do something about this.
Exactly. And for the incident that happened in Compton, that was actually an ambush. And once again, a horrible situation. But my problem is not, my problem is with the sheriff. And I feel he's going about it the wrong way, and instead of just saying like, hey, it was really sad what happened to our people. We are actually offering up an award of such and such amount of money. If you guys know any details, please let us know if you have any leads. Now he's trying to use his platform to reach out to different influential black people, one of them being LeBron James, and saying, essentially, keep the energy that you had for, your black people and for Black Lives Matter, and have that same energy for police officers. I don't think that's fair, number one. And then number two, where is the accountability? Because you didn't have the same energy when your people were releasing photos of Kobe Bryant's crime scene. But yet you want to call out LeBron James and say, oh, well, you need to help us. Why would he need to be brought into this? Why?
I'll help you once you hold everybody accountable equally. Like, let's be honest. People don't turn into the monsters that they have become. Do not become like them. An eye for an eye, tooth for tooth. Yeah, but there's no point in going out and killing these police officers. They're people just like we are. Just like when you have a criminal, it's not executioner on spot. You arrest them and then you take them in to go on trial. It's the same with these police officers. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't take that into your hands. Do not take their lives into your hands. It goes both ways. Respect goes both ways. That being said, that needs to be applied to when they go and arrest all these people that are killing all these people. You need to hold the police officers accountable the same way you hold regular citizens accountable. Like, stop hiding them because they have a badge. Stop.
Exactly. And it's just, I would be lying if I said that I didn't think that it was going to come to this, where, the anger and the hostility would build up so much where there would be attacks, there would be innocent lives lost. But when you put out this narrative that we're untouchable, that we can do whatever, that essentially your Black life doesn't matter, that you're not safe, what do you think is going to happen? Because we tried to protest peacefully, and that's a problem. Have the crowd, riddled with, people who are hidden to cause riots and rubber bullets and tear gas and agitators. We try to kneel. That's a problem. We speak up and say something. That's a problem.
Linking arms is a problem. Yeah.
That's the problem. Walking down the street laughing, that's a problem. Sleeping in our bed, that's a problem. Like, anything we do is a problem. So to take it in our own hands to where, now it's a whole different level of retaliation. What do you think is going to happen when you're not putting these people behind bars for cold-blooded murder?
Right.
Period.
Right.
At some point, enough has to be enough where you're like, okay, well, we see where this is going. We see where this leads. Let's go ahead and we have to start holding these people accountable. But since you're not doing that, because it's this whole, oh, blue lives matter, all lives matter, Trump, MAGA 2020, whatever you want to call it. What do you think is going to follow?
They better stop playing. Jordan Peele tried to tell us they better stop playing for us happen for real.
Hello.
Okay.
Girl.
Stop. He tried to tell us.
Look, I'm telling you, all around anarchy. Like, it's going to happen if this continues, because people can only take so much. There's no more distractions. There's nothing, making people not see the images anymore. There's nothing to where it gets swept under the rug. People are constantly on social media. They're constantly watching the news. They're constantly involved in seeing what's happening. So you can't hide anymore, And it, like I said, it's sad, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
And I mean, add that on top of this pandemic that our president said he tried to play down for our sake.
Girl.
You know, people are losing it. People all over the world, has been artists and actors and musicians all over the world committing suicide. People are losing it in this time because it's not normal and they don't know how to reconcile with what's happening right now. So you add that on top of racial tension and on top of people being tired of what's going on in this country and with this president and with each other, it's perfect storm waiting to happen.
It is. You know, and it's not making it any better when he holds a public forum for the people and you're not answering anyone's questions. Like, people have legit, real live worries about how they're going to eat, how they're going to pay their bills, you know, where they're going to live, how they're going to pay their medical bills, how, you know, if they can even go to see a doctor with these pre-existing conditions. And you're sitting up there talking about how you have this beautiful plan and how, you know, everyone's going to be happy with it, and that, you know, Obamacare is a mistake and we're going to get rid of it. Okay, well, it's 2020. You have been in office since 2016. So where is this plan? What are you going to do? How are you going to hold people accountable? But yet you're sitting there on this platform as a representation of the United States and saying that, oh, well, there's good and bad people on both sides, or not really saying anything when these Black people are being murdered, you know, and we're crying for help. We're asking for anything. Just, hey, do something. And you say nothing.
Or even politicizing a factual statement. Black lives matter. They have always mattered because all lives matter, because they've always mattered. So when you sit here and try to negate it, you try to argue against it, you try to politicize it, you're stupid. You're ignorant. You need to sit down.
And don't hold any more goddamn public forums, because you sound a whole fool. Girl. Anyway, moving on, because that I watched a little bit of that yesterday, and it was just as bad as Carol Baskin on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh no!
Horrible, absolutely horrible. What are we doing? So moving on into our entertainment news, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard Cardi B has announced divorce from Offset. And I can't really say that I didn't see this coming. Just based off of, you know, what has happened between them in the past. And it's definitely sad to hear, because they, in my opinion, they were a couple that made sense. But Precious, what do you think? What do you think?
I say kudos for her for fighting for her marriage. When everybody was telling her, oh, you're stupid, and all, she fought for it because she okay, yeah, that's a little bit too much love right there. But she loved her husband. She loved and she respected the marriage in the way that they've agreed upon their marriage, and he didn't. And at the end of the day, she said, you know what? I want better for me. I want better for my daughter. So I'm leaving. And that's nobody's decision but hers. And all of our talks about, oh, I guess she didn't really have that WAP and all this other stuff. I'm like, don't degrade her.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, you ain't never been in a serious relationship a day in your life, but you out here degrading her.
Exactly.
It's like, just go sit down.
Exactly. And you couldn't have said it better. And I really do feel bad, because no one really knows what a person is going through or what is happening in their household. Because even though she's a public figure, we still don't know what is happening outside of her Instagram, outside of, you know, any public appearances that she may have. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to fight for your marriage and wanting it to work. However, there's everything wrong with losing yourself and losing the respect that you deserve in a relationship. And I think, you know, regardless of what is being said to her, I think she had to have that come to Jesus, where it's like, okay, I've had enough. You obviously don't respect me. You don't respect this relationship. So I'm leaving. I'm done. I do, like you said, I do, you know, give it up to them for being, you know, adults in the situation. Right. And even her amending the divorce and saying like, hey, I don't want sole custody. I don't want to take his daughter away from him. I want shared, you know, and just making sure that, hey, we're not going to make this ugly. We're not going to be childish about it. It's just that this isn't working for us. We've tried. She tried. She gave it the old college try, but let's go ahead and let's move on.
Right.
Because,
and if you're going to hold her accountable for her lyrics, make sure you hold all these men accountable for their lyrics too, with their daughters and their wives.
Exactly. Because I mean, look, at the end of the day, you cannot stop a man from cheating. You can have the best coochie in the world. You know, you could be the best looking woman. You can have, you can be
everything right.
You do everything right. But if that man wants to cheat at the end of the day, there is nothing you can do to stop him. So the jokes and, the kikiing and TTing about like, that it's not funny. It's not funny because anyone could be in this situation. I was somebody in that situation where I'm like, okay, well, here I am thinking I'm being the all around best woman that I could possibly be. And they still decided to say, hey, well, I'm going to step outside. I'm going to find someone else. And you have to realize there's nothing wrong with you. It's them and the immaturity factor. And I will say with Offset, I did get a hint of immaturity with them, but they're both still really young. Really, really
and rich and in an industry that doesn't necessarily respect the sanctity of marriage. So, and with all those things brewing, it's a lot harder to really hold things together. But I mean, they tried. She tried. She's trying to keep things amicable between the two of them. She could be the bitter woman and just slander him everywhere, but she's not doing that because she recognizes at the end of the day, that was her husband. That's her daughter's father. Will that change? It might over time because emotions might start coming out. But for the most part, she's handling this in a very good way.
Exactly. And I'm proud of her. So please leave Cardi alone. Because if you're going to talk about her, then talk about Offset. And I hate that whenever a situation like this happens, people immediately go to the woman. Like, what did you do wrong? Or, you didn't do this or you didn't do that. Or, oh, well, your WAP must not have been good enough. Okay, but what about him? At the end of the day, you still have to hold him accountable. Unfortunately, he may have had a history and a past before they got together. But she may have saw something in him that we did not see. And it happens. She's human. It's young love. But I'm so glad that they're being adults about it. And I wish them both the best of luck, especially Cardi. Wish her the best of luck. And I hope that, things work out in the end for both of them and for the baby as well. But girl, let's talk about a night of aunties.
We want to know.
Girl, let's talk about Patti and Gladys, honey.
Okay. All right. So I was all here for, because I know they announced it during the Brandy and Monica. They said, if you here for this one, just wait. The next one is epic. And I'm like, who can they get to make this epic? And then they announced Miss Patti LaBelle and Miss Gladys Knight. And I said, whoa, that's royalty. That's R&B soul royalty. And I said, okay, well, this is going to be good. And then it came on and it didn't start for another 30 minutes later. And then it happened. All of the flapping of the wings, the kicking off of the shoes, the forgetting lyrics. Where's my lyrics? Where's my background singers? All of that. All of that that they are known and loved for happened. I mean, kudos for them for even wanting to be on a platform like Versus, for exposing themselves to a whole nother generation that may not be familiar with their music, or at least only knows it a certain way. So, I mean, It was very entertaining in good and bad ways.
Look, let me tell you.
TV. It was good.
Let me tell y'all something. I was completely here for this battle, but this is my question, and this is my plea for Timberland and for Swiss. Can we please just get a standard platform?
Yes.
Where everybody can go when they do their verses. I don't know how they need to work it out. I don't know what sponsorship they need to have. I don't know what you need to do, but let's get it somewhere where it's a centralized location where people can go so we don't have to worry about audio issues, technical issues, anything like that. And Instagram, you know damn well that these verses are going to be more than an hour. So can we please stop with the whole, we're going to cut you off at an hour and then you got to come back into it. Like, these are just things that I need to work out, or that I need y'all to work out for the next battle. Because it's just irritating. But as glad as I was to see both of them on stage, looking as beautiful as ever, giving me aunties, at the repast and talking about everybody in the family and good times and all of that.
You should just roll the clip at this point. Just
Kayla, go ahead and roll the clip. This part.
We're friends are for in good times and bad times. I'll be on your side forevermore. Hey, keep smiling, shining, knowing you can count on me for sure. Tell me what friends are.
You Chrissy Teigen face. Now, as iconic as that was to have Miss Dionne Warwick, I knew she was there. I felt her spirit. I said she there. As iconic as that was to have her come out, just the last time we saw Miss Dionne on TV, it didn't go so well because she was getting married, she was off key, and it was just bad. And I was hoping that this time they could gel, but they was searching for all the notes. All three of them was just searching for all the notes. But you know what? They're royalty. They have done so much. Can't really touch them. Just let it happen.
They have done so much, but damn it, number one, I was bored. Okay, I was bored. I was not here for these damn hour-long, 15-minute stories that they were trying to share. Then on top of that, we heard Midnight Train to Georgia about 8 times. And she didn't even play my song, If I Were Your Woman. I'm like, now, wait a minute. How we have a whole Patti concert where she's playing 15 songs back to back to back to back to back, kicking off shoes and hitting her knee, and all that. All that. But I couldn't hear If I Were Your Woman. Like, nah. What you're not going to do is this to Miss Gladys. We're not doing that, Patti. It's not about you. It's about both of you.
Maybe she didn't have the rights to that one. I don't know.
Let
me tell y'all, the best part of the whole night was when Miss Patti was talking to Swiss. First of all, she forgot Timberland. She was like this, Timberland. Then she said, Swiss, tell your wife, like his wife is not Alicia Keys, but anyway, she said, tell your wife I said hi and your baby kids. Oh, she called his kids baby kids, y'all. Miss Patti is known for the shade and the tea.
Shady, and I am here.
She got people together. She told Brandy and Monica to get it together. She said that her and Miss Gladys could get it together, but she also did not follow her own advice when it came to Miss Aretha. So, yeah.
Let's go ahead and throw that out there. Goodness. All in all, I was glad to see them. It was a nice night. It was definitely filled of memories and auntie realness. But Tim, Swiss, I need y'all to get a centralized location. If you got to reach out to Tyler Perry, because Monica and Brandy had the whole setup. It was good. There weren't any real issues. They didn't have anybody screaming at them talking about where's my lyrics. It was smooth sailing. So let's try to work that out. What I also want to address, Swiss Beats.
Yes.
Swiss Beats.
Yes.
Sir, what you're not going to do is try to come for Janet D. Jackson. Because we all know once a versus ends, we talk about, well, who's the next? Who's the next person? So a lot of people were throwing things out there, we want to see this person. We want to see this person. Missy Elliott. But who would Missy Elliott go up against? Some people were saying Janet. Swiss Beats had the audacity to say that Janet Jackson does not have the catalog to go up against Missy Elliott.
Janet has decades on Missy. So I can count all the Missy hits. I can count them. Janet, I can't. So they're two different realms.
Yes.
Honestly, if Michael were still around, I know a lot of people say Michael and Prince. I think Michael versus Janet would have been better.
Yes, absolutely.
They could perform Scream at the end. I thought that'd be dope, but he's not here. So I don't know. Janet is on her own, just like Mariah is on her own. You can't really put them against people because they don't have any contemporaries that are left, unfortunately, that can battle them.
Right.
So when you try to put Janet against Missy, that's two completely different lanes that just don't go. So,
I could see where people were going with it, because Missy, along with her songs, she also has produced a lot, so she can always drop those songs in. But the thing, what upset me more was not the comparison, because we can go ahead and throw them in together. Why not? It still would be a good night, and they have songs together. They worked with each other numerous times. But the thing that you were so comfortable in saying that, and I don't know if it was an instance where maybe he was using the wrong verbiage, and just maybe he meant like, I don't think her catalog would be ideal against Missy. But to say that she does not have the catalog when this woman can drop a whole album and be like, bam,
She
And
literally has an album called Number Ones, and there's like 34 songs on it. Like,
hello. You don't get to try to sit here and play a legend. You know, like we're not doing Swiss. Take you, your nose, and your baby's kids and your homewrecker wife and go sit down somewhere. I need you to really reevaluate that whole entire comment before you try to come for Miss Janet Jackson. Like, this woman has been touring for years. Like, years. What?
Yeah. I don't know who they're gonna have next, because if you get Gladys and Knight and Patti LaBelle, I don't know who you can have after that. It has to be somebody else that is iconic or that will bring in the numbers. Why are you laughing? Who you think about?
You know they said they're trying to do Ashanti and Keisha Cole. Quit playing.
It's gonna be a whole night of non-singing. I don't. No, we're not gonna do that.
Now let me tell you something. The inner middle schooler / high schooler in me would be here for that battle, because I was a Keisha Cole fan and I liked a couple of Ashanti songs. Can't say that I'm a rock, diehard Ashanti fan. She's cute or whatever. But I'm here for Keisha Cole. I mean, Keisha Cole, people try to play her, but look, Homegirl had a lot of hits when, she was just rocking them out one after another, after another. What I'm not here for is Keisha Cole against K. Michelle, or K. Michelle against Tamar, whoever was trying to make that happen.
Against anyone. Just no. Do not give her a platform. No, thank you.
You know what? I'm gonna because I was about to go in. Anyway, we gonna talk about. I do not like K. Michelle. Okay, I just don't like her. Never did. I don't like her music. Don't care for her as a person. I'm not here for her at all. Period. So I really wouldn't want to see her in a versus at any point, at any time. Absolutely not. Just not here for it. I'm also not here for her trying to cry crocodile tears because she did not get the role in P-Valley. If you guys haven't heard about that, that was something that was trending over the past couple of days because P-Valley has become the new hit of the summer. Everyone has been watching it, but it essentially gave a platform and a spotlight on a few actors that we weren't aware of, and it was good to see that. It was good to not see the same old faces over and over again. The only person I think everyone's pretty familiar with is Isaiah Washington, but he really didn't have a super, super large role in it anyway. But K. Michelle and Big Frida both decided to come out and just say like, hey, like we were considered for the roles, but we ended up losing out on them to Brandy Evans, who is a Mercedes, and Uncle Clifford, who is Nico. I can't remember his last name. Because they were saying that those were the roles that they wanted to audition for, didn't get it. K. Michelle was out here crying a river saying, oh, well, I felt like it would have been perfect for me. I don't want to look at you.
But it obviously wasn't perfect for you because you don't have it. Just like when Gabrielle Union was upset about Kerry Washington in Scandal.
Oh.
Yeah. She said that was supposed to be hers, but she got being Mary Jane. We saw how that went. That's not the point. The point is what's for you is for you. What's not
Thank you. You took it right out of my mouth. What is for you is for you. Point blank, period. K. Michelle, sit down. Nobody's here for you. I'm not here for you. I'm just going to speak on. I'm going to speak for y'all. I'm not here for you. Go sit down somewhere. We're not here for it. Absolutely not. Swiss Beats, don't try to come for Janet. You have been getting dragged all on social media, rightfully so. I'm not here for you either. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to see what the next versus is. And that's pretty much that, girl.
Yeah. I'm going to throw this out here. Y'all, I watched Hamilton. It was okay.
All right, y'all. We love you. Because we're going to go ahead and sign off and I'm going to finish cussing her out. I am not here for this Hamilton slander, man. Not here for it. But thank you. Thank you so much, Divas and Friends, for tuning in to another episode of In the Divas Den. We love you guys. Make sure that you are sharing. Make sure you are starting watch parties. Make sure you are telling a friend. And make sure you are getting in on these conversations because we definitely want to hear from you. If you disagree, that is okay with me. But I'm still going to say what I want to say. Yes. So, Precious, how you feeling, girl?
Feeling great. Glad to be back. Can't wait for next week. See y'all soon.
Okay, girl. Bye, y'all.